Get out that house before they make you get out that house.
Most of you remember Kimora Lee Simmons from her high-profile marriage to Russell Simmons. And hold up, let's not forget she was the powerhouse behind Baby Fat and a supermodel straight out of St. Louis. Then just like that, the marriage collapsed, the relationship ended, and girl, she moved on to another actor and had a child with him. Fast forward to 2014 and listen to this. She ends up with Tim Lassner. Now this is where it gets serious because Tim Lassner was a managing director at Goldman Sachs overseeing Malaysia's sovereign wealth fund. And if you don't know what a sovereign wealth fund is, it's basically a national investment account built from rich natural resources to secure a country's future. Norway has a massive one fueled by oil wealth. Saudi Arabia runs one too, and even the UAE operates a similar powerhouse fund. But instead of protecting that money, he was siphoning it. Yes, stealing straight from the fund. We're talking about the 1MDB scandal, the one that shook Malaysia. And while that money was disappearing, he purchased a $25 million mansion for himself and Kimora Lee Simmons. You won't believe this. There were other luxury items bought with that diverted cash, but most of those assets were seized, except the house. The mansion got tangled up in civil legal issues, and eventually the marriage ended in 2022. Either she divorced him or he divorced her, but she kept the property. And here's the twist. The U.S. government didn't seize it because it ended up in a distressed refinance and sale-back situation, partly tied to
Tim Lassner purchased the home in 2017 with stolen funds from the Malaysian Sovereign Wealth Fund. Now, Kimora has been living in the home rent-free for the past 5 years. It's actually featured in her new show, Kimora Life in the Fab Lane. Court documents show that Kimora has not paid rent nor made a payment for mortgage and is refusing to leave the home. According to Kimora, her ex-husband sold the 7-bedroom estate to real estate brothers David and Simon Rubin through a deal she claims was fraudulent, requiring $67,000 in monthly payments. Kimora, I don't know, this doesn't sound too good because based on California laws, just residing in the home does not give you a right to stay in that property, especially when it was bought with stolen funds. Now, I want her to fight for her rights. I would love for her to keep that beautiful home, right? But do I think the judge is going to...
So now they're locked in a civil case. And listen to this. The trial setting conference is scheduled for February 25th, 2026. She's still living in that mansion, but hold up, they're not paying the $67,000 monthly mortgage. Meanwhile, Tim Lassner just started serving federal prison time this month, and he's expected to be there for 2 years. And here's another twist you won't believe. Russell Simmons reportedly lost a significant amount of money investing in ventures tied to Tim Lassner and Kimora Lee Simmons during their marriage. He was still playing the supportive godfather role to the kids, staying cordial, backing business moves, and ended up taking a financial hit. So Kimora leaves Russell Simmons, builds off that foundation, links up with Tim Lassner, and then what happens? The man goes to prison, she's still in the house, and now there's drama because the payments aren't being handled. And this is where I need y'all to lean in, because this isn't just gossip, it's a pattern I see all the time. Some men grind their entire lives stacking wealth, only to align with someone who isn't planning to stay long-term, but will absolutely leverage that success to unlock elite rooms. Now yes, she was already a model, but being connected to Russell Simmons elevated her access and kept her positioned in high-level business spaces. Almost every guy who plays this game thinking money guarantees loyalty ends up learning the hard way. There's nothing wrong with building wealth or wanting a beautiful partner, but hear me clearly, there's a smarter way to move. This might ruffle some feathers, but hear me out. It's usually smarter to build with someone who's in your same lane when it comes to looks. They don't have to outshine you by miles, maybe just a notch up, but not a whole different universe. Because when a guy who's a 4 or a 5 starts chasing a 9 or a 10 who would have never looked his way before the money, listen to this, that gap comes with a price tag. We've seen it play out with Tim Lassner and even Russell Simmons, and in the end, both situations unraveled. Millions spent, reputation shaken, and the lifestyle still being enjoyed off the back of their grind. You really expect me to believe she had no clue money was being siphoned from Malaysia? Girl, come on. All of that risk, all of that chaos over someone who isn't locked in for the long haul just doesn't add up. And hold up, because where some of these younger athletes are moving today is going to sound controversial too, but they're adjusting. A lot of them will date these stunning women, yes, even ones with the Kimora Simmons type of look, but except for cases like PJ Washington, they're not rushing into marriage. They might have fun, they might even have kids, but they're not handing over lifetime commitments without thinking 3 moves ahead. Look at James Harden and others like him. They've studied history. I grew up watching eras where almost every superstar was married. Charles Barkley, Clyde Drexler, Michael Jordan, Scottie Pippen, Larry Bird, and Magic Johnson. Magic might be one of the few still standing strong, maybe Larry too, but many of those legends took heavy hits in divorce settlements. Jordan did. Pippen did. Later on, Kevin Garnett faced it as well. And when it's all said and done, you can lose a fortune if you don't move wisely. Girl, listen to this. You can't turn side piece energy into a main character, because that's how she started for a reason. Hold up, if she wasn't riding for you during the grind, she's definitely not the one you should be putting a ring on. Trust me, Travis Hunter is about to learn that lesson the absolute hard way. When you try to level up a woman who was never meant for that tier, you're basically signing up for a massive headache. I'm sitting here looking back at my own history, feeling total regret over women I actually spent money to fly out. Seriously, I'm looking at some of these past choices like, what on earth was I actually thinking? It was just a $400 plane ticket, but looking back, even that feels like a total waste of my energy. Why do I feel that way? You won't believe this, but once the hype dies down, you realize nobody in the real world actually takes those women seriously. That is the absolute cold hard truth. Just look at where they land eventually. No high-value man is checking for them like that. I'm not even joking. I'm keeping it completely real with you right now. Most guys in this game are not trying to build anything permanent with women who move like that. And the second you hit a rough patch, they'll snatch your bag and sprint toward the next guy with a wallet. They're fundamentally broke, period. They're just desperate to stay in the mix because they're obsessed with faking a high society lifestyle they didn't earn. It's a literal epidemic of women trying to secure a rich man just to drain his accounts while contributing absolutely zero to the table. They want to hijack your entire network and play professional businesswoman when they haven't worked a day in their lives. Honestly, most of these girls, and a lot of these dudes too, who brag about being entrepreneurs are just straight up scammers. That's the only way they're funding that leased lifestyle. You're probably sitting there wondering how are they living this way without a real job. They're either out here doing favors or they're faking the numbers, usually both. Girl, let's be real. Almost nobody is actually grinding every single day to build something legendary and offer genuine value to this industry. Hold up. When these women realize they can't suck any more value out of one man, you see these IG models show their true colors. They literally just hop to the next target without skipping a beat. The only real shift is that once they infiltrate those high-level circles, they stop chasing the local rappers and bench-warming athletes. Now they're hunting for the lawyers, the surgeons, and the heavy-hitting real estate moguls. You know exactly why they're dying to get into that Dubai or Beverly Hills elite social scene. They basically run this predatory play on whoever they want, and the second that man's star fades, they're on to the next victim. Listen to this. You have to make these women earn their spot. Seriously, do not let anyone leech off your blood, sweat, and tears like that. That's precisely why Kayla Nicole was spiraling and so bitter toward Travis Kelce. When Travis leveled up and went public with Taylor Swift, she was absolutely fuming. And look at Kimora Lee. She is out here fighting tooth and nail to keep that house because she knows the clock has officially run out. It is game over for those types of antics. Those old plays are completely exhausted and played out right now. I hate to be the one to say it, but the era is over. Nobody of substance is walking through that door to save her next. She's officially cashed out and hit the proverbial wall. You can see the panic because when you hit that wall, the big checks stop coming in. Now you're stuck fighting over a house bought with shady funds because you know deep down another provider isn't coming to the rescue. The timer has hit zero, the ride is over, and now you're left looking desperate and down bad. That is the standard happily ever after for most of these women who live for the shortcut. They refuse to put in any real work. I'm obviously not talking about the bosses who actually grind. I'm talking about the vultures who just want to attach themselves to someone else's fame and bank account. Then you find yourself solo, realizing you never invested in your own skills because you thought marrying for money was a career path. You didn't build anything the right way. Your ventures were probably just scams or tax write-offs. Anyway, your time and your money disappeared. You're in your 50s and 60s, and successful men see how you dragged your ex-husband like Russell Simmons. They see that toxic energy you put out online, and they're making a hard pass. High-value men look at that and say, absolutely not. I'm not touching that drama with a 10-foot pole. See, those men actually have options, while you're left with none. And trust me, it only spirals down from there. You're broke, you're looking dusty, and you're completely alone. You have zero recurring revenue. Your businesses are crumbling because they were never real to begin with. You have no idea how to actually manage a company. It is a dark, bleak future ahead. So what's the vibe, guys? It's your boy, back with another heated episode of the